Most people grow up hearing the same piece of financial advice repeated over and over again. Save your money. Parents say it, teachers say it, and almost every basic financial guide repeats the same message. Spend less than you earn, put money in the bank, and eventually you will become financially secure. On the surface, this advice sounds responsible and logical. And to some degree, saving money is important. But when we look at the real world, something interesting begins to appear. Millions of people save money for years, sometimes even decades, yet they never seem to reach true financial freedom. Their savings grow slowly, while the cost of living seems to grow much faster. Housing becomes more expensive, education becomes more expensive, healthcare becomes more expensive, and everyday necessities gradually cost more than they did before. This quiet force is called inflation, and it slowly reduces the purchasing power of money sitting still. In other words, the longer money simply sits in a bank account, the less powerful it often becomes over time. Imagine saving money for 10 or 20 years only to discover that the things you hope to buy with it now cost far more than they once did. This is one of the hidden problems with relying only on saving. Saving protects money, but it rarely multiplies it. And this is where the real difference between financial stability and financial growth begins to appear. If you study how wealth is built across the world, you will notice a pattern. People who become financially independent rarely rely on saving alone. Instead, they focus on ownership. Ownership of businesses, ownership of investments, ownership of assets that can grow in value over time. While a saver protects money, an owner puts money to work. And money that works can begin producing more money without requiring more hours of labor. This is the principle behind investing. A small investment in a growing business, a piece of real estate, or even a broad market fund has the potential to slowly grow over many years. At first, the difference may seem small, a few percent here, a few percent there. But over long periods of time, something powerful begins to happen. Growth compounds. Earnings create more earnings. Small gains stack on top of each other again and again until the total becomes far larger than the original amount. This is why two people who start with the same income can end up with completely different financial outcomes. One person saves every extra dollar but leaves it sitting still, while the other person slowly converts those savings into assets that grow. Over years and decades, that difference in strategy becomes enormous. But this does not mean saving money is useless. In fact, saving is often the first and most important step. Without savings, it becomes difficult to invest or take advantage of opportunities. Savings create stability and security, which allows people to think beyond the next paycheck. The real mistake is believing that saving alone is the final step in building wealth. In reality, saving is only the beginning of the journey. The next step is learning how money moves, how assets grow, and how small investments made consistently over time can slowly transform financial life. Once people begin to understand this shift, they start viewing money differently. Instead of asking only how much they can save, they begin asking how their money can grow. And that simple change in perspective can completely transform the way someone approaches their financial future.